If you still tell people, oh, I'm so bad with names, just stop scrolling. I'm going to show you how to fix that because it's a very common issue, but you can fix this. My name is Wesley. I won the US Memory Championships, and one of the events I was really good at was where we had to memorize a bunch of data about people. And I am really good at remembering names now. It's not something I could naturally do before, but it's a skill I've developed, and I'm going to show you what I do and how to just never forget a name because it's not as complicated as people think. Stick with me for 1 minute. Here's how it goes. So what you're going to want to do is convert the name into an image and put that image somewhere memorable on their face. And I bet if we go through these, you're going to remember a lot more than you think. This is something that gets better with practice. And this is just a simulation. I'm running just random names and faces. So right off the bat, Timothy, his eye sticks out to me. It's like a red eye, you know? And so I have like a preset image for Timothy. I think of tin of tea. So maybe like a tin of tea is inside of his eye. Maybe you know somebody named Timothy, and that's what's inside the eye. Sadie sounds kind of like sad. Maybe she's sad because the hair's in front of her face. Sad Sadie. Ricky, Rick sounds like sick, and he has pretty big ears. So you could imagine this guy's kind of just sick of having big ears. Viola, that's easy. You know, it's like a violin. She's got long eyelashes, so I'd put that image on her eyelashes. Next time you see her, big eyelashes, what's on them? Oh, her name's Viola. Alex sounds like Alex, like Alexis. So maybe there's like Alexis driving down his colorful shirt here. And even if you don't see the shirt next time you see him, you'll probably remember Alexis driving down him on there. Elizabeth makes me think of Queen Elizabeth. Her shirt kind of looks like, you know, she's at a picnic, so you could stack that on to the image. But in general, just imagine there's a big crown on her head. All right, we're going to go through this later. I bet you'll remember her name's Elizabeth if you just imagine a crown on her head. Sandra sounds like sand. You know, she's got pretty sparkly eyes here. You can imagine there's sand on her eyes. Chris, I think Chris Cross or Chris like Christ. Either way, you could, you know, he's got a pretty big forehead. Put a cross on his forehead for Chris. Helen, I think of hell like fire. She's got this big collar right here, so that's on fire. Donald, well, his hair already kind of swoops, so you could think Donald Trump or, you know, Donald Duck. Maybe that swoop on his hair is quacking, or maybe Duck is on it. So just imagine that. And you apply your own experiences to this, but you know, some of these are pretty easy. Like Ashley, I think of Ash. She's got a really big earring here. You could imagine there's ash all over it. Ruby, her cheeks stick out to me. They're pretty big, so you could imagine like ruby red cheeks, or maybe there's like rubies actually glowing from them. Timmy, his nostrils are kind of big. I'd put the image there, which would be like Tiny Tim, you know, like from Christmas Carol. Is like a tiny guy inside of his nostrils. John, I think of John like going to the John, so he's got pretty spiky hair. You can imagine there's, you know, poop all over his hair. Heidi, I'm thinking of hiding, and you know her teeth are sticking out to me, so maybe you're hiding behind her teeth. Mary, he's got like really squinty eyes here, red eyes. There's like a little lamb, like Mary had a little lamb is on her eyes here. So you get the idea here. Frank, imagine hitting his face with a hot dog like a Frankenfurter. Shelby, you could think of a shell. He's got a really big forehead. Maybe you could look at his nose also, put a shell on his face somehow. So we could stop it there, and I bet you're gonna remember if we go back. Yeah, just now, right? What's on his face? A shell. So Shelby. What was this guy's name? What does he have? He has big ears. He's sick of them. Sick. Ricky. You remember? What do we have for this guy? Spiky hair. What did we have? Yeah, John, because it was poop, right? I hit his head with Frankenfurter. What's driving down his shirt? Alexis. So you get this. You go through this. Donald Trump. Her collar was on fire. Helen. Let's do one more. She had squinty eyes. What was on them? A lamb. So Mary. So that's the way you do this. And it's if you practice this, you'll come up every time you meet somebody with the same name, you'll think, oh yeah, every time I meet somebody named Laura, I imagine, you know, like Laura Dern, so this person's Stern or something. Or, you know, that's not a great one, but like, you know, every time I meet somebody named James, I imagine chains on them. If you practice that just a little bit, it will stick way better than just having it anchored to nothing. So the site I'm using here, by the way, is called memoryleague.com if you want to practice this kind of thing. But if you really want to improve and get better at names, you absolutely can. And that's how. Convert it into an image, put it on their face. You got this. Follow for more.